Hi, I'm Zealand Turner. I'm the Director of School Communications here at the Pennsylvania Leadership Charter School. Today we're talking to some of the mock trial club members from our PALCS University Scholars Program. They're telling us a little bit about what they did last year as well as what they're looking forward to doing this school year ahead. They compete, they always do amazing work, and we're really looking forward to seeing how high they fly this school year ahead. Take a listen.
Hi, my name is Chris Stiles, and I get to be the principal of the University Scholars Program. When I first came, they had done mock trial a couple years before, but they had stopped at that point. And my first year here, I came to Jane Ferris and I said, let's do it again. And she said, hold your horses, let's get your feet underneath you first as a teacher. And then the following year, we restarted mock trial. So that was way back in 2011 or so when we started. And we had one student who knew what she was doing because she had done mock trial at another school once before. And so that was, we really didn't know what we were doing at all.
So she kind of helped set the groundwork.
Yeah, without her, we wouldn't have been able to get started. But she was the seed that helped us grow. The first year, it was part of our government class. And so we would just kind of take a month and a half off of government and really dive into mock trial. We had students who had done mock trial in government class who wanted to come back and do it again. And so at that point, we moved it to an after-school activity so that everybody who wanted to participate could. And at first, we were just doing the Chester County District competition, and our students did well. But we realized that to take it to the next level, we needed to do more. And so we began by scrimmaging other schools, and then we started going to tournaments. There was an invitational at LaSalle University and at the University of Pennsylvania. And so the combination of scrimmages with other schools, J.P. McCaskey, Central, and then the two tournaments at LaSalle and at Penn, have really become the mainstay of getting our students ready for a competitive season at districts.
My name is Trisha. I'm in 9th grade, and this is my 4th year doing mock trial.
My name is Peter Escala, and I've been in mock trial for 2 years, one middle school and one high school.
My name is Michelle Wallace. I'm currently in 9th grade at USP, and I have been a member of the USP mock trial team I did it 2 years in middle school and one high school, so this is my 3rd year.
My name is Milo Sugar. This is my first year of high school mock trial, but I've done 3 years of middle school mock trial.
Hi, my name is Ailita. I've been a part of mock trial for 3 years, 2 years as a part of the middle school program, and 1 year on the high school mock trial team.
My name is Rowan Stacy. I've been a member of mock trial for 1 season.
So what drew you to mock trial?
Me personally, I love public speaking and the feeling of being able to connect with other people through my words, sort of. But I also wanted to be able to develop my critical thinking skills in a more professional environment.
Honestly, it's because one of my friends wanted me to do it, and I just tried it out, and I loved it. Preseason was already pretty much over by the time that I joined, so it was a little bit nerve-wracking to get into it then. But I think it was definitely the right decision for me.
My mom kept pushing me to do it, and I didn't really seem into it. And then I joined as a witness, and I thought it was interesting because as a witness, it was kind of like acting. And on the day of the trial or on the day of the tournament, I got really interested, and I saw what the attorneys were doing, and I knew that that's what I wanted to do in the future. I guess I like the more debating side of it. I like, especially there's the objection battles where during the tournament, you can object to something that a witness or an attorney is saying. But objection battles, they're a lot of fun, a lot of back and forth between both sides of the council, and they're scary, and they're the most uncertain part of mock trial, but I love it. It's impromptu, and it's nice.
I think my favorite part about mock trial is probably the objections, because it's kind of like you kind of have a problem with what they say, and then you have to fight against it, and sometimes it can be really crucial if there's an important exhibit. It's sometimes a really crucial objection that you need to make, and it just feels nice to get it sustained and for them to not be able to ask the question or get the exhibit in.
I actually, even though the competitions, they're great, and I think they're the most exciting part, I really enjoy looking through the affidavits of the characters and trying to find like very small details that are hard to notice to help my case. And so it's kind of, I feel like, fun looking through all of the information and be like, okay, so what are we looking for here?
So if the school year starts in early September, the mock trial preseason then runs from September to early November, and then the case is released in November. We start looking at the case and developing general questions from November to maybe December, and then they look at the preferences in the Google form and then assign attorneys and witnesses, we call them pods, for specific characters. And then from December to January, it's really intensive focus on developing the questions, developing the answers, working to get yourselves up to standard. And then it's a series of competitions. So LaSalle University, Benjamin Franklin Invitational, and then districts in February. If we are lucky, we progress to higher levels, regionals, states, nationals.
Can you tell me a little bit about preseason? What does that look like?
We use one of the PALCS cases and pretty much do a shortened, quicker version of that and then do a short scrimmage. I think it's very helpful because you can learn about how it works and you can learn about objections and other important things like that. And also, even if you're planning on just testing out, the preseason can be helpful just to learn about what mock trial is, even if you don't end up doing it later in the year.
I feel like throughout the course of preparing for the competitions, practices can look kind of different because at the beginning you're mostly looking through information, looking through exhibits, and you're kind of talking to other attorneys and witnesses and trying to figure out what to put in your case. However, I feel like as competition dates approach, you may either practice your things on your own or you might be writing your own openings or closings. I feel like scrimmages they're a really fun part of practices, mostly because at some point you may feel a bit disconnected from the other side of the team because they have one thing, you have another. And so when you do these scrimmages, you really get to see what your other half of the team looks like and what they're bringing to the table, which for me, it's the most interesting part.
Well, often it's just reading your statement and just memorizing. But for me, after the first two competitions, I had heard basically every cross question that I'd get, so I made a list and just made responses for those. We would just do a mock of the mock trial sometimes and practice the whole thing. One thing that we've done, I believe it helps us memorize it, is where you have a ball and just throw it around, and whenever they ask you a question, they hold it and then throw it to you for when you answer it, which helps a bit with memorization.
Aside from the fact that it's really fun, I'd say join because it gives you a new experience. It gives you a new perspective on life. I feel like one thing I've come out with is looking at things from sort of a logical aspect, going through all the possibilities and all the different ways something could play out. But in terms of developing my critical thinking skills as well, I feel like that's always a good thing to have, even if you're not considering pursuing law as a career.
I feel like improving in mock trial is really fun, at least for me. I really like seeing how I improve, and in the first year I could have been going over simple objections, but nowadays I'm going over specific parts of rules and objections, and it's really interesting to see how I can use those and implement them and become a better attorney, I suppose.
It's really rewarding, it's really fun, you make good friends along the way, and it's just a great experience to see how the courtroom works and all those processes.
My favorite story is one of a student when she first came to us in 9th grade. She actually didn't speak, so she could read as prepared speech that she had done. I don't remember the exact condition that she had, but she didn't speak extemporaneously. So if you asked her a question, she just wouldn't respond. And she joined mock trial, and she started as a witness, and she could read the statement and be prepared. And there's a kind of a script that you develop with the questioning. And so over the years, she became more and more comfortable, and she finished out as an attorney and gave the closing remarks for her team. So just the amount of growth that you see over the years from students is really just tremendous.